Hey, Brewtubers. All right, so beer 7, maybe. So this is the dual grain triple play 2018 hop experiment. I don't know what jackass put this thing together, but anyway, this beer I have today is from our newest additions to the Brewtube community, Nick and Brandon from Exit 12 Brewery. So check out their label. This is a really cool label. I've had a couple of beers from Brandon and Nick now because they sent me some goodies, and thank you very much, by the way. They sent me some. They do have a triple IPA from it's a Trillium that I have not had yet. I haven't had any beer from Trillium, but they sent me some Treehouse and some other things, and they're really, really good. So thank you very much. Thank you to all the guys that have been sending the extra beers. I really appreciate it. This one again, just a quick rehash. It's 2 grains, 3 hops, 1 hop for bittering, 1 hop for flavoring, and 1 hop for aroma dry hop. These guys use Laurel, they use Centennial, and then they used Hallertau Blanc. So it looks like Laurel was some at 60, wow, 1 ounce at 60, 5 ounces at 49, 1 ounce at 40, and 1 ounce at 30. And then in Centennial, they used at the Whirlpool 1 ounce at 165 degrees for 15 minutes, and then 1 ounce for 150 degrees for 10 minutes. And then the Hallertau Blanc was their dry hop, and that was 1 ounce at 5 days. So, all right, well, let's break into this. And I'm gonna do something special with this one. You'll see in a minute. Let's see how well this works out. All right, great hiss off this thing. By the way, I had to use a blowtorch to get your tape off this bottle. I don't know who put that what do you call that? The translucent tape or the clear tape, I don't know what it's called, but Scotch tape. All right, so let's pour this thing. And I think this thing is pretty settled, so I shouldn't have any floaties or anything in here. I think they bottle conditioned it, so I'll stop it right there for right now. All right, let's talk appearance first. Okay, so what I want to do for appearance, I want to talk about the color because I wasn't sure how my color were stacking up to these beers. So my beer is on the right. This is my, actually, should be your right. I don't know. My ring finger hand, that is Exit 12 IPA. So they're pretty close. There's not that much difference at all, to be honest. So I think theirs is just a little bit darker. They've got about a 1 finger head. It's persistent. It's not going anywhere. It looks kind of the same as most of the beers, a little hazy and kind of that burnt orange color. Again, theirs is just a shade darker than mine. So good job on the appearance. Looks like it's supposed to. All right, let's get a aroma. Get a stone fruit. I don't know why I do this. I usually drink some, get a little bit of space, and then I can smell a lot better. Oh yeah, I'm getting a little bit of overripe pineapple, not bright pineapple. I like one of those descriptors. I heard one of you guys use that. I'm getting kind of stone fruit, kind of mango, peach. Very fruity, and that's kind of been the theme for most of these beers. They've either been kind of pineapple-y or light citrus. This one's more kind of heavier on the fruit side. All right, let me go ahead and get a sip. I'll get a flavor, and then I'll come back, and I think I'll be able to get a better aroma once I get a little bit of more space in the glass. Cheers, Nick and Brandon. Okay, right away, first I'll talk, before I get into the flavor, first of all, it's a very good beer. The mouthfeel is interesting on this one. I don't know if anyone else commented on this, but it's almost like they use oats or something. It's got that kind of slick mouthfeel, if that makes any sense, kind of a silky kind of sensation. Yeah, kind of creamy, silky sensation to it, which is very interesting. As far as the bitterness is all the way throughout. I think it's a little sharper on the back end than most of the ones that I've tasted, but they definitely hit that. I don't know if they said what IBUs they hit on this one. Don't think they put their IBUs in here. But if I had to guess, I think they got every bit of the 85 IBUs. I think that was called for. And this was Laurel. I think if I was to change anything about this beer, so Laurel's a pretty high alpha acid. I don't know if it's specified as a bittering hop. I think that kind of sharpness on the back end, I think that some of that might be caused by the Laurel. I would recommend actually using, Chinook. Magnum is a favorite. I know Josh talked about using Magnum. Somebody turned me on to Magnum probably about a year ago, and that's pretty much all I've used for bittering. I don't really use anything else because it's, as Josh said in one of his videos, I mean, why bother? I mean, why use a higher price hop for bittering? I don't know what the price of Laurel is. I think I got some of that for free at NHC. I don't know what the cost of it is, but just from the kind of my impressions on the taste, I think it actually leaves a little bit more of a harsh bitterness than if you were to use something like Magnum, which is pretty rounded. But that said, I mean that's just a kind of a tweak here or there. But the freaking flavor on this thing is awesome. I can tell it's got I don't know what your ABV was on this. I'm assuming it's up there because I can taste the grain in this thing, and that's a good thing. First of all, if I haven't ever said this before, or Nick or Brandon, if you haven't seen any of my earlier videos, I'm a malt dude. I love freaking malts. Malts is like to me, I believe it's the soul of the beer. I think it's kind of what everything else comes from. There'll be the fight between, no, it's the hops, or no, it's the yeast. For me, it's the malt, man. I love a good malt bill. And this particular recipe is interesting because even though there's only 2 grains in it, it really has a very, very rich, well-rounded malt backbone that I think really plays well with hops, which is why I was excited to use it for this experiment. And yeah, you guys are getting really nice kind of presentation on the malt, and I really appreciate that, and I dig it. Now let me get another smell here. Now that I'm drinking some down a little bit. Okay, yeah, you got a really good cattiness in it. So your dry hop of what was it? Of Hallertau Blanc. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know if it's from the Centennial Whirlpool or if it's the Hallertau Blanc. I thought Hallertau Blanc was kind of supposed to be more of a kind of a white wine kind of smell. I guess now that I say that, I am kind of getting the cattiness mixed with that white wine, which has this interesting kind of play on your nose. That sounded kind of weird, but yeah, I think I do get that. It does have a pretty good cattiness. It's a different cattiness, and I think it's probably because of the Hallertau Blanc. I don't think I've ever had that in a beer as a dry hop before for the aroma, so that's pretty interesting. I'm trying to think of the kind of characters I'm getting on the Hallertau Blanc, and I don't think I've had a whole lot of Hallertau Blanc. I think that it would work really, really well in a Saison with a French Saison yeast for that real spicy character, kind of balance that kind of white wine character on it. I think that would be very, very interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and review this video when I go to make my next Saison, and maybe think about using some late edition Hallertau Blanc, because I usually just use like Saaz or something like that, and it'd be nice to put this kind of different hop character in it. Yeah. Man, you guys brew some good beer. You guys brew some really good beer. Interesting choice of hops. I think it worked. Like I said, I think I might use a different bittering hop than Laurel. I don't, like kind of Josh again pointed out. I mean, bittering hops, it's not really about the flavor of the hop. It's more about just the kind of quality of bittering you get. I don't think Laurel necessarily gives you as kind of clean of a bittering as, say, a Chinook or Columbus. Don't say that around Josh Secor. He hates Columbus because it's just so Columbus. But But yeah, Magnum is, I would recommend using Magnum. I'm kind of a big fan unless something else better comes along. But yeah, this is a really good beer, dudes. This is a really good beer. Let me do a little side by side here to kind of see the difference. Man, you guys are so right. Mine does have a tea quality. It's got to be the Palisades because that's the only different thing I've used. Normally when I use Citrus Simcoe and Magnum, and I usually use a little bit of Columbus in the dry hop. Yeah, I think one of the main differences in our beer, besides that kind of tea quality on the end that you're getting from the Palisades on this one, is the different quality of the bitterness. But dudes, this is a freaking awesome beer. One thing, if you haven't went out and checked out, I think I'm gonna try to dig up. No, I don't think. Yeah, Exit 12 has a channel now, so I think I'm gonna try to throw in their URL in the bottom in the description. So make sure if you haven't seen their videos, go check these guys out. They're super enthusiastic brewers, which is cool. That's what kind of pulled me into when I first started learning to brew. I read a bunch of books, and then I went on, obviously, the YouTubes, and some were entertaining, but some were really, really instructive. You know, the S.J. Poors, the Under the Table Brewing, Josh Secor, you know, Wally Feck, you know, Tony Yates. I sit and literally, time for another one. You know, there was certain channels that I could just sit and literally could just watch for hours and hours and hours and kill a weekend, do binge watching almost like I do on Netflix now, and that's what I did. And these guys, I think, they're pretty serious. They're really enthusiastic. They're super into beer. I can kind of see their setup in the background with the igloo coolers and all that, and you know, they'll probably, if I had to guess, we'll start progressing towards, you know, electric brewing, I would imagine, at some point. I would like to request that you guys do kind of a background homebrew Wednesday 1 week, where you kind of explain, you know, kind of your background, who you are, where you're from, how you got into brewing, and you know, kind of where you see yourselves going. That'd be kind of interesting. There's a couple of different scenarios, different kind of challenges, but Homebrew Wednesday, the iterations that, you know, all of us on Brewtube have kind of went through and talked about who we are, where we're from. You can go back and see it in our videos. It'd be really cool to, you know, hear a little bit more about you guys. So anyway, hey, Nick and Brandon, dude, this is a freaking awesome beer. You can see it's almost gone. That's responsible of me on a Wednesday, drinking this fast. Dude, awesome beer. Thank you for participating in the hop experiment, and look forward to many more chats and unintentional butt dials like we had earlier today, and seeing you guys progress your craft. It's you know, it's an awesome hobby, and we like adding cool dudes to the group, and you guys are a good addition. So, cheers.